Sivan, 5751, 1991. And this address that was, the Rebbe spoke about different things, but the 28th of Sivan marks the day that the Rebbe and the Rebbetzin landed in America in 1941. So, in other words, in 1991, 5751 was the 50th anniversary of the Rebbe and the Rebbetzin coming to America. And the Rebbe spoke about the significance of the month of Sivan and the number 28 and the parsha of the week that had passed, which was Shalach. I'm just going to take a few excerpts of what the Rebbe spoke about, an excerpt of the Sicha. I'm not going to go through every single detail. So we're going to go on the last line of the first column. It's known the explanation in the words of Kalev that he said, he said, up we go up, we will go up. Beis aliyos, this is indicating two ascents, that the Jewish people will go up two ascents. Similar to what it says, I will raise you up, also raise you up. What is the idea of the twice that Kalev said going up, and also that Hashem told the Jewish people when he took them out of Mitzrayim, he also told them twice, I will take you up and go up. Such as Aliyah Rishonim Migols Mitzrayim L'Eretz Yisrael Ubinya Beis Hamikdash. The first ascent is referring to going up from the land of Mitzrayim to Eretz Yisrael, and the building of the Beis Hamikdash. Va'aliyah Shniya, and the second ascent is Migol Ha'achrem L'Eretz Yisrael, from this final exile to Eretz Yisrael. When will that take place? The Geulah Hamitis V'Hashlema, and the true and complete redemption will be in Beis Hamikdash Hashlishi Hanitzchi, the building of the third and everlasting Beis Hamikdash. Mate says, and the flows like your days going out of the land of Mitzrayim, I will show you wonders. Just like the purpose of going out of Mitzrayim was to be able to receive the Torah of the revealed Torah. In other words, when they went out of Mitzrayim, it was to come to Har Sinai, where they would receive the revealed Torah. Kach, in a similar vein, Kol Arichas Hagolos Hazed, the whole entire lengthy Golos that we are going through at present, Ukidei Lizkos Lagili Pnimius HaTorah, it's to merit to the revelation of the inner part of the Torah. Sheyeh lost love, it will be in the future. Rashi Mefarish, like Rashi explains on the words, he will kiss me from the kisses of his mouth. Muftachim me'itoi. We are promised, we are assured from Hashem that Hashem will still appear upon them. In other words, similar, not the same way, but similar to Matan Torah, he will appear again upon the Jewish people to explain to them the secrets of the reasons and the concealed aspects of the Torah, meaning that there will be the revelation when Moshiach comes of the inner part of the Torah, and that's what our goal is now, is to be able to reach that revelation, as opposed to the goals Mitzrayim was to be able to really reach the revelation of the Torah that took place by the giving of the Torah when the Yidden went out of Mitzrayim. Since there has to be the idea that we say that just like before Shabbos, one needs to taste from the foods of Shabbos, so too at the end of the sixth millennium, which is like the spiritual level of Erev Shabbos, like Friday, because every millennium is like another day of the week. So just like on the normal Friday afternoon, we taste from the foods of Shabbos, so too in the millennial Friday, which is where we're in now in the sixth millennium, before the Shabbos of redemption, That's why we also are tasting from the foods of the Geulah. L'chein hoye gili pnimius ha'Torah v'afot samayonos kutza v'machzis hashniya shalaf hashniya hashishi. That's why there was the revelation of the inner part of the Torah and the spreading of the well springs outward in the second half of the sixth millennium. Maschai the Baal Shem Tov Magid, beginning from the Baal Shem Tov and the Mezritcher Magid. Skip over the parentheses, v'acharkach, and afterwards, ba'ifin shali slapshus b'chokman bin avadas, in the way of becoming clothed in Chabad, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. Skip the parentheses again. Aidei admur azokin through the Alter Rebbe, b'frat la'achra gula d'yutes Kislev, especially following the redemption of the 19th of Kislev, b'chodesh hashlishi the chodshei achodev. Kislev is the third month of the winter months. In other words, counting from Tishrei, Cheshvan, Kislev is the third month of the winter month. Al-Derech Chodesh Sivan, Chodesh the Matan Torah, similar to the month of Sivan, the month of Matan Torah, Chodesh Hashlishi, the Chodshei HaKaitz, the third month of the months of the summer. Rabbeinu Sienu Amalim Mekoymai, and the Rabbeim, the Nesiim, are the ones that continue in the and fill the place of the Alter Rebbe. Asher Gilui Teretz Chassidus Heaskola, Ba'ifin Shel Te'imal upon the revelation of the teachings of Chassidus is the beginning, in a way of at least a taste of the foods of Shabbos, in other words, the spiritual food of Moshiach's times, the understanding of godliness. It gives flavor in the entire matter, like any type of taste. That the taste is kapashtas initial te'ima, like the normal idea of taste. The Geulah Pnimis HaTorah, the loss of love, it's a taste of the revelation of the inner part of the Torah of Mashiach's times. Now, earlier, the Rebbe had spoken about that the Meraglim went to be via Suru at Eretz Canaan, that they went to the simple meaning is they went to scout out the land of Canaan, but on a more general way, they went to not just scout out, but to see and affect and add and increase. Yisuru is from the word increasing in the land of Canaan. So the same way how it was then in the times of what was supposed to be by the Meraglim, what they were supposed to accomplish, what the spies were supposed to accomplish, the same thing that Rebbe is going to explain by us. So he says, it's just like by the giving of the Torah in the third month, was given in general the capability to scout out the land, meaning that the Rebbe explained earlier in the Sicha, lifoil ba'olam hazat tachten, to affect this low world, acha olam yisayeya v'yigala lakus, until the world itself will assist and reveal godliness. So too, it's also affected through the revelation of the inner part of the Torah and the spreading of the well springs outward. This becomes even more so through the spreading of the well springs in such a way where it becomes enclosed in the human intellect. Until even the intellect of the animal soul and the intellect of the world can appreciate godliness in the inner part of Torah, which is a nois and hakoyach sheteva oilam v'inyanim shalamata yu keil malakus. This empowers that the nature of the world and the matters down here below should be able to become vessels for godliness. Va'adrab, even more so, I dig Geulah Pnimis HaTorah B'Elef Hashishi, through the revelation of the inner part of the Torah. In the sixth millennium, Nitwas of Chidush L'Gabe Matan Torah, it's added a new thing over Matan Torah, more so than what we get during the giving of the Torah. Shemekablim Koyach Yoiser Naila Legal Salkus Ba'olam. Now we are receiving through the revelation of the inner part of Torah, we're getting even a higher power to reveal godliness in the world. Yoiser Mikpashoya Begoli based Matan Torah, more than it was revealed during the time of the Matan Torah. The Rebbe says in the parentheses, this means that it was there already by the giving of the Torah, but Hashem didn't yet manifest it until we actually had the revelation of the inner part of the Torah through the Rabbeim. Skip the parentheses. Aidein Sinas HaTorah HaNiglas Gali the Torah Shoyabikar Matan Torah, through the giving of the revealed Torah. That was primarily during the times of the giving of the Torah in the year 2448. Mekabel Beikras HaKoyach Legalas Gali the Koshabrichu Vegal the Yisrael. We receive primarily the capability and the empowerment to reveal the inner, the revealed part of Hashem and the revealed part of the Yid. And also the revealed part of godliness we are revealing to the world. That's the capability that we were given by the giving of the Torah, because then it was openly the revealed part of the Torah. But I did Gili Sosim Daraisa, but through Chassidus, which has been revealed through the Rabbeim, which is revelation of the closed part of the Torah. We receive the empowerment to reveal that which is concealed in Hashem, that which is the concealed part of Yid. By days through that reveal also the concealed part of godliness in the world. Hadargas Hachin Nilus Delakus Shatmunas Baris, the most highest levels of godliness, which is concealed in the land. Skip the parentheses. Ad lekoyach ha'atzmas sheyeshna b'olam hazeh agashmi, until the power of Hashem's essence that's to be found specifically in this world. Dafka. Skip over to Hay. Indians, this idea shegilu Torah Chassidus nois nakoyach legal salkus ba'olam b'yeser seisa b'yeser rois, that the revelation of the teachings of Chassidus gives the empowerment to reveal godliness in the world, and so much more powerfully and so much stronger than without Chassidus. Mudgish ba'aloshni chutza ma'asecha. Chutza is emphasizing the expression, they shall spread their well springs outward. Duber kamapam, it's spoken about many times. Shekol achas mishloishes atevis. Each one of these three words, yafutzu and ma'asecha and chutza, the Mevate Inyan Shalom Ubir B'Toichem Avoida expresses an entire concept and an explanation and the content of the service. Ubiyosam Lashonis B'Torah, being that there are expressions in Torah. Madgish Kol Lashon Es Hamitis V'Shleimus Shel Toichem Lashon Zeh. Every type of expression, it shows the truth and the perfection of the content of this expression. Yafutzu b'amitis u'b'shleimus, the spreading out in truth and a perfect manner. Ma'inisecha b'amitis u'b'shleimus, that your well springs is the true type of well springs and the perfect type of wellspring. The Rebbe is not explaining in this Sicha what that means about Yafutzu Ma'inisecha. He's going to emphasize this and analyze the chutza part. The chutza b'amitis u'b'shleimus, the true external and the complete external that we have to reach with the spreading of the well springs. The Rebbe asked, Ma pirush chutza b'shleimus. What does it mean? The complete and perfect outward. Well, seemingly chutza is a b'diuk hipucha shel shleimus, being outward, being outside. It's the total opposite of perfection. Sheshayich rak b'fnim. That's only applicable inside. B'kedusha v'elakus, and holiness and godliness. Bir b'zad explanation. This is mekibun shechutza loshen b'Torahs emes, since outside is an expression of the Torah of truth. Areza moira alamitis ha'inyan the chutza canals. This indicates the true idea of outside. Sheba'amitis ha'inyanim harei ein chutz ma'kadosh baruch has shalom. That in truth, there's nothing outside of Hashem, heaven forbid. Skip the parentheses. So if there's nothing truly outside of Hashem, why would the Torah use the expression outside? The intention is to the truth of the outside. How the outside reveals godliness. Just the opposite, specifically within and through that which is outside. Skip over the parentheses. It's recognized in a revealed way, in a perfect way, in the ultimate perfection, the truth of godliness, that there's nothing besides him. Afilu, even bechutza, even outside of Hashem. Behachutza, there's only Hashem. Skip, skip the brackets. V'akoyach l'galsois b'achutza, and the power and capability to express this in the outside. V'aidei yafutzu ma'inasecha, through the spreading of the wellspring. Afotas amayonis, the primis HaTorah, spreading the wellsprings of the inner part of the Torah. V'amitius u'b'shleimus, in a true fashion, in a perfect fashion. V'oifen, in such a manner, shemizgala ha'yisron v'akoyach anala b'chutzam, that becomes revealed the additional and the greater power of the outside. Shezem Mesayeo Megala Lakus, this assists and reveals godliness. Va'adrab, not only does it assist and reveal godliness, but it's ba'ofen naili yosim kvishes b'fnim, in an even higher way than it would be if it would be inside. And the Rebbe says that this is also hinted in what the Alter Rebbe said, Padav Shalom Nafshi, when he was redeemed from prison, that even though it says Kibarabim Hoyim Modi, that there was a level of Rabim, there was a level of Rishus Rabim, a level of multiplicity and externality, and over there became peace, meaning that over there itself, moved over here, over there itself, there was the idea of the peace brought about. That's just like we have the peace of godliness brought out and the wholeness of godliness brought out in a place that it's chutz. Let's skip over to Zion, which is the second paragraph, to the second column, second paragraph from the bottom. In the chain of spreading your well springs outward through our Rabbeim, there were many levels and stages. Throughout the 7 years from the Alter Rebbe, 7 generations from the Alter Rebbe, or the 9 generations for the Baal Shem Tov, until our generation. After the Alter Rebbe, skip the parentheses, Hoy Rabbeinu Kama Doris Lubavitch, our Rebbeim were many generations in Lubavitch. And afterwards, B'doir Hashvim Baal Shem Tov, in the 7th generation of Baal Shem Tov, meaning in the days of the Rebbe Rashab, the Frierdiker Rebbe's father, Avru LeRostov, they went over to a different city in Russia called Rostov. Olacher became Leningrad, afterwards to Leningrad, Petersburg, of our Petersburg, the way it was called before it was called Leningrad. Olacher is about Poland, and afterwards they moved to Poland. Ad Shlava Acher, until the final stage, when they reached the United States, in the lower hemisphere of where the Torah was given. The Torah was given in the upper hemisphere, and the United States is called the lower hemisphere. Sham Gufa Makam Makaimis, and this itself, in the lower hemisphere itself, from when the Frierdiker Rebbe, the previous Rebbe, arrived over here, there were also many moves. Geulah binyan v'amakim sh'bayim tzayman u'achshav, until they arrived at the building in the place that we are finding ourselves now, where the Rebbe was saying the Sicha, Beis HaKnesses, Beis Medrash Lubavitch, B770, Kishanikra Kach. In the shul and yeshiva of Lubavitch, that's called 770, that's the way it's called. Royim b'poil, we see in actuality. Sha'af, Apisha b'chol adoris, u'mekayim eseilu, ha'yiseiz galas, chassidus, v'apatzamayos chutzam. In all these different places, there was the revelation of chassidus and the spreading of the well springs outward. Specifically in the lower hemisphere, it says that in the lower hemisphere, the revelation of the giving of the Torah was not revealed, because the Torah was given in the upper hemisphere. Still in all, specifically in this lower hemisphere, it was the revelation of chassidus and the spreading of the well springs outward so much more powerfully than it was in before they came to the lower hemisphere, to the United States. More so than in previous generations and previous locations. Still we see that how chassidus spread from when we arrived in the United States is so much more and reaches the furthest outside than it was nothing as far as we ever reached before the Frierdiker Rebbe moved to the United States. Top of the next column. The reason for this is, like the Rebbe mentioned earlier in the Sicha, why was the revelation of the giving of the Torah specifically down here below? Specifically in the most lowest thing. Nifal Hagilu the Yisron Eretz B'chayli becomes affected the revelation that the advantage of the land is in everything, that the land, the earth, is the highest thing, even though it's the lowest thing, because specifically in the earth is Hashem's home revealed. While there's a movement lachrim at Torah atzma in a similar vein is understood after the giving of the Torah. Specifically in the lower hemisphere. Like I said before, that over there, the giving of the Torah was not in a revealed state. Nasa Shlemus Haizgal Yisrael Eretz B'chayli becomes the perfection of the revelation of the addition in the land is in everything. Hashlemus the Geulah Torah Primis Torah Ba'ifin Yichutz Ma'aseh Chutzam, the perfection of the revelation of the Torah and the inner part of the Torah in the way of spreading your wellsprings outward. Like it's hinted also in the numerals of the address of the building. Skip the parentheses, 770. What's the significance of 770? As it's known, 770 Gematria Shel Paratzta. 770 is the numerical equivalent of Paratzta. Paratzta means spreading forth, spreading out, like Hashem told Yaakov, Paratzta Yom Avakedim. Sparsim Bein Bnei Yisrael, as this became well known amongst Yidden, that 770 is the numerical equivalent of Paratz. Rebbe says, we say the connection between 770 and Paratz. Mispar Shiva Moira ala Shleimus, the Shivas Yimahek. Number 7 shows on the perfection of the 7 days of the cycle, meaning the 7 days of the week, which also spiritually indicates Shiva Midas, the 7 emotional attributes. Hashpa b'chol adargis mechesed ad malchut, that which flows down in all the levels, from Hashem's attribute of kindness till his attribute of sovereignty. V'ashleimus the Shivahi, when do you have the perfection of the number of 7? Meya pamim Shiva, when you have 100 times 7, which is 700. The Yachadim Eser Pam Shiva, 70, when you have it along with 10 times 7, which is 70. The Tzirufam Yachad, when you combine them together, 770, Areza 770. Then it comes out to be the number of the address, 770. Therefore, it's the numerical equivalent of Parastam. It's the Parasta, the perfection of Parasta, Hapritzim, Kola Agbos, the Zmanu Mokim, the breaking through of all the boundaries of time and place. As the pasuk says, should spread out to the west, to the east, to the north, and the south. Ad from the paratsta, until that the spreading out itself spreads out. Nifal, it's affected. Skip the parentheses. Dafke betoich by the shlemus as man va'amokim 770. Specifically, in and through the perfection of time and the place of 770. Hashlemus the mispershiva, the perfection of the number 7, as we explained before. Skip over to the next paragraph. So he said, this means to say, in addition to the fact that there's the breaking through of the boundaries beyond measure and limitation, there's still the idea of place and time, like the halacha is in a simple sense, that a building has to be made of these different things. It has to have walls, it has to have a roof, it has to have a ceiling, etc. But time and place itself, kayam, exists, but in a way of breaking forth, of breaking out. Let's skip over to the next paragraph. 770. Gematria Paratsta, this place 770, which is the numerical equivalent of Paratsta, Nasa Hamokim and Sinas Koyach Hayafutzum Hayasecha Kutza B'chol Olam Kula, becomes the source and the empowerment for spreading your well springs outward in the entire world. Va'oifin shepoyelin, as a Paratsta V'Hayafutzum Hayasecha Kutza, in such a way that we affect the spreading forth and the spreading of your well springs in outwardness. until we come to an outwardness that there's nothing more outward than it. That we reveal the advantage specifically in the physical earth. Let's skip over to the next paragraph, the next column, to the second paragraph of Ches. Though we find ourselves in this low world, in exile, the goal is in this final exile, and this itself in the lower hemisphere. The lower hemisphere is the place where the majority of Jewish people are found, majority of Jewish institutions are found, etc. Just the opposite than what you would think. Specifically from a state and in a state, and the lowest place and Golos. Until it's such a low place that there's nothing lower than it. It becomes affected the highest ascent of all the levels and generations that are before and higher than that, including even higher than that which took place in the upper hemisphere and the most highest generations. Skip the parentheses, until we'll come to the ascent of the true and complete redemption. It's a redemption for the entire world, including being a redemption even for the upper hemisphere where the Torah was given. For all the generations, they are becoming redeemed as well. It was it's known as we know that the word Geulah is written specifically by having the word Geulah with adding the letter Aleph into the word Geulah of exile. Because the redemption is drawn down and comes about through the avodah of inserting and placing in the Aleph of the master of the world in Golus, in Geulah. Since the redemption comes about from the lowest state, therefore this itself contributes that the redemption is a true and complete redemption. Golus, an everlasting redemption, that there's no Golus following it. That concerning that Geulah we say Shiur Chodesh Lashon Zachar. We say a new song in the masculine, not like the other redemptions prior to that, that they cease. Just like a woman gives birth, and she stops giving birth, and she gives birth again. All the births are indications of Geulah. Because only and specifically through the matter coming about from the lowest thing, becomes revealed the truth, the completion of the matter, which is a darish of Hayom. This is a matter that has a lasting matter, in the revealed way. Skip till after the parentheses. David will come revealed in its perfect way in the king through Moshiach Tzidkenu, from the kingdom of the house of David. As it's known, Shachidush the Geulah, what the novelty of the redemption is. The revelation of godliness down here below in this low world. That there's nothing lower than this world. A lesson, a directive. I'm sorry. A home for him, for Hashem's essence, down here below. Down the home, we know, is where a person's essence is to be found revealed. When he's a guest somewhere, his essence is not revealed, but when he is at home, that's when his essence is revealed. This is also the root of the words Geulah and Geulah. That's also from the word revelation. Shloimer, we could say, Shekashem Shizabinagel, Lachlolos in Hagolos Vagula, just like it's concerning the general idea of the exile and the redemption. Kachu Gam Benagel, Lamokim Aprotish, and Tzoim by Bechatzi Kadar Atachtan. So too it's concerning the individual place that we find ourselves in, the lower hemisphere, Yeshezel Hamigdash Ma'at, since this is the miniature base of Migdash, Hamakim Shasham since this is the miniature base of Migdash, in other words, the shul, the place that my father-in-law established, his place, his location, as the source for spreading the well springs outward in the entire world. So specifically in this place, and from this place that's affected the redemption and the building of the third base of Migdash, the Migdash of Hashem, your hands prepared. The top of the next column, even though though the place of the base of Migdash, its location is in the Holy Land, in the holy city of Yerushalayim, Al Har Kodesh Al Kodesh, on the holy mountain. Over the Seinu calls Mamesh Chagol, since this is happens and this is made through our actions and our service throughout the entire time of Golos, especially through the conclusion of the time of Golos, through spreading the well springs outward. There's already in this place, and specifically in this place of 770, the preparation in its perfect state to the Migdash of Hashem. Your hands are prepared. Take until immediately in this place becomes the revelation of the Migdash of Hashem. Your hands are prepared. At this, my father-in-law, the leader of our generation, could demand to bring to actuality. First and foremost becomes a revelation of the Migdash of Hashem. Your hands are prepared in this location in 770. That he lived and affected his avodah in the last final 10 years of his life. Which we know the end of a person's life is the sum total of his entire work. And only specifically through concluding the service in the lower half, in the lower hemisphere, Mylin and Megalin, we elevate and reveal the Kol Abinyan of the Migdash of Hashem, your hands prepared. Kol Gamagag Shal Abinyan, also elevating the roof of the building. Melech HaMashiach Omed Al Gag Beis HaMikdash, the Medrash says that the King Mashiach is standing on the roof of the Beis HaMikdash, and he lets the Jewish people know, and he proclaims and he says, humble ones, it's come the time of your redemption. All this is affected through the avodah of the raising up of the lowest level, meaning the lower hemisphere and so on. Take from Yad Mamish, and immediately Oru Mananish Maya, behold, with the clouds of heaven, called Bnei Yisrael, all the Jewish people, with our sons and with our children, with our youth and our elderly, and with our sons and our daughters, and we find ourselves in the Holy Land, the Yachdim Beis HaMikdash Ashlishi, along with the third base of Migdash Yeshnekan, that's already in existence. But we just have to see it and reveal it. We take all this together, along with their silver and gold with them, which silver and gold spiritually is a havodah, the avos Hashem, v'yiras Hashem. The silver is from the word kisufim, love, and gold, Alter Rebbe explains in Tanya, has to do with awe of Hashem. And we know that kolos kol mitzvahs asev kol mitzvahs lois. The love of Hashem and the awe of Hashem, love has to do with all the positive commandments, the Alter Rebbe says, awe has to do with all the negative commandments. So therefore, we have our whole avodah of the of what's going to happen and what happens the whole time of the Geulah.